Welcome to the Transform Your Wealth and Health podcast, where experts in wealth, health, and fitness help transform your life. Here's your host, Andy Arter.
Straight into the podcast today, and I'm going to show you 10 quick ways that you can improve your sales without spending a penny, or at least very little. So let's go straight for it. First things first. Today, with so many people being on the internet and such huge groups out there like Facebook, etc., you need to be doing your best on social media. So I think it's 2.1 billion on Facebook. I mean, that's absolutely incredible. There's a whole market there that you could aim for, and it's completely free. If you wanted to put Facebook ads on there, they're reasonably cheap, but you don't want to always spend money. So if you wanted to do it completely for free, you could do. You can go onto Facebook groups, of which some of those groups have got hundreds of thousands of people. I saw one the other day. I think there was 385,000 in that one group. So you can imagine if you was prevalent within that group and you was one of the main contributors, you'd actually have nearly 400,000 people that you were talking to on a regular basis, potentially at least. So work the social media stuff. Now my daughter, she's got a YouTube channel. It's around about 17,000 people, and she aims primarily at makeup and hair and beauty products, but she has up to £1,000 sometimes worth of products come through. They're free products. Manufacturers have spotted what she does, or she's contacted them, and they send them through for absolutely free for her to trial. So it just shows you the ability to be able to create stuff on social media just by a social media presence. You could write a book. Now, we had Vishal Majaria on the podcast earlier. One of the things he does is he teaches people how to write their own books and then to use them as their own business card. So from that book, you're creating authority again, and you're going to be able to tell people what you do and all about you. You've got a captive audience when you've got a book. It puts you on that next pedestal above a guy dishing out a business card or a lady dishing out a business card. You've got a book, you're an authority, and that means you're one step ahead. And that can be completely for free. It could be an ebook. It doesn't have to be a book that you're printing. It can be an ebook. You can do it for nothing, literally. What about the 80-20 rule, Pareto's principle? Very often it rings true, it always has done for me, that 80% of the effect will come from 20% of the effort. So let's get concentrated on what you do. So if it's 20% of the things that you do that's actually producing results, really concentrate down on that, make sure you're doing the right things, and you will produce extra sales just because you're being much more targeted. Speed up. What about speeding up what you do? Now, I was only thinking the other day, a friend of mine, his brother used to do extreme running. So they'd run huge distances over in South Africa, and I think they was running up to like 75 miles. So you can imagine taking on someone like that. I like to do a little bit of jogging, just a bit of jogging, mind you, not 75 miles. But let's imagine that I took that guy on. He would do so much more in a day than I ever could. So I'd be, I don't know, let's say by the end of the day, 20, 30 miles in and be absolutely dead. He'd have done 75 miles and ready for the next day's running, no doubt, because they do it over multiple days, I believe. Crazy guys, but there you go. And you think about it, it's just a matter of how much effort you can put in. Sometimes you just got to do more, or if not, speed up and do it quicker. What about learning sales conversion skills? If you're more skillful, particularly at sales conversion, then you're likely to earn more. Your sales will go up just because you're doing what you do better. It can be one or two little tricks, one or two little techniques. So it's a matter of possibly closing better. So it might be that you get people to a point, they like what you do, they know how you do it, and then that final thing of actually getting them to come out with their credit card and pay you for doing what you do doesn't always work, or your percentages are very low. You can sometimes employ closers. So people do that. People that are particularly good at getting people over the line, making them want to buy. So you got to do that too. So if you can get absolutely spot on with your closing techniques, then you will do incredibly better just by improving what you do. Delegation. Now, delegation has been one of my bugbears with a lot of people that I know. They're really talented people, but the best people I've ever worked with at all the big companies that I've ever worked for have been the best delegators. If you think about it, is Richard Branson going to be driving any trains tomorrow? Is he going to be flying any planes? What about working in his gym? Can you see him picking up the sweaty towels? I can't really see it myself. So at some point, guys like him that are running huge organisations have got to be good delegators. So think on a much smaller scale if you're running a small business, of course, but nevertheless, get to be a good delegator. If you can do it, it's the best day's work you'll ever do. Trust me, you need to be a good delegator if you're ever going to take things to scale. Podcasting. What about podcasting? Now, here we are. You're listening to a podcast and it's completely for free, possibly. Now, I actually pay $15 to Libsyn to host my podcast and they help me get it through various social media. It just makes the path much easier. But having said that, you could put a podcast, record it and put it straight onto your website. So it's just a recording, really. There's various ways of delivering, but in theory, you could put it straight onto your website. You can actually turn them into videos and put them onto YouTube too. We've done that, not onto YouTube actually, but onto Facebook. So I've still got to put mine onto YouTube, but we've got them. I think they're about 2 gigabytes. So they can actually slow your website down. It's not really a great idea. You might want to go for the cheaper idea, which is pay a company like Libsyn. I think there's cheaper companies out there too that will host it down to about $7. That really is not a huge amount of money. About £5 in UK money, and that would be a crazy amount of money. You could actually return far, far more just from a podcast that told someone all about your goods and services and products. So think about it. You create authority. People hear what you do. They get to know you well. They know what you stand for. So podcasting is a very good way of creating sales. You could create an email list. Now, an email list is something that you could do cheaply or free. Let's look at it. If you go to MailChimp or MailerLite, you will get a 1,000 allocation for MailerLite and 2,000 allocation for MailChimp, which are completely for free. And you could then create from that an autoresponder. So that's the next thing. You could send out the emails, have an autoresponder where people fill in their email address and their name, and you could capture them on the MailerLite or MailChimp system and then send them autoresponder emails after that to follow up. So there's another way of doing it completely for free. Now, websites is another one. Websites, technically, you could get one completely for free. I think there's people like Wix and Weebly that do them with Weebly.com and stuff like that written on them. You don't particularly want it, let's be honest, but technically you could do it for free. You're probably going to want to pay them a £5 monthly subscription or £8 monthly subscription that enables you to have a more cost-effective one. If you're going to go for the free one, you might as well pay the £5 or the £8, but you don't have to pay the bigger, larger amounts. I heard of a guy recently, a friend of mine, that was on Shopify and he had absolutely zero people come back to him about the products that he was trying to sell. It was costing him £30 a month, and we switched him to a cheap version of Weebly. I think he paid Weebly £5 a month, and then he started contacting people on Facebook groups completely for free. He had 250 people that came back to him on one post that he put out to 2 groups. So, I mean, he's had 0 through Shopify for God knows how long, and then one post, 250 people. Unfortunately for him, he hadn't set up the autoresponder sequence, so he ended up writing down 250 names and email addresses, but it was a great effort either way. And, from that idea, he picked up, obviously, a lot of people that are interested in what he does. So there's 10 quick and easy ways there. Let's go over them. You've got the social media presence. You could write a book. You could go for the 80-20 principle. Get hot on the 20%. What about do more, quicker? Do it quicker. Get things done quicker. You could also delegate better or convert better. Convert your sales and get those numbers up. What about podcasting? You can do it for free or cheaply. An email list complete with an autoresponder. That gives you number 9, and number 10, a website. So I hope that gives you a good insight into some of the things that you can do completely for free. No excuses. Get out there, get into it now. You can improve things instantly. That's only a few. Could have written down double that amount, to be honest with you, but let's not go too far. Start with a few, get on with it. Talk to you next week. Now, I've trained plenty of people in my time. I've even been asked to train people from Coca-Cola and Glaxo's. But I've set myself a goal, and in 2018 I'm going to train over 100 people to improve their wealth and health. So if you'd like to be considered, it's personal training. I'm going to put it out there for application only, because I'm going to be doing this training initially at my home. So I'm going to have small teams of people, and we're going to work upon everything that you need for small businesses and also for online sales. And we have some people that are specialists that's going to come along and help us. If you'd also like to improve your health, we've got a program that's quite intensive. It's going to mean you putting tremendous effort in, but if you want to improve, I'm going to be able to help you. So please contact me on transformyourwealthandhealth@gmail.com or 07903 771 594. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that episode, and until next time, start transforming your wealth and health now.